Her hand was on his chest. His lips were just inches from hers. And I was standing outside the hotel window, watching it happen. She didn't know I was there. Not yet. But the second Amanda turned her head and locked eyes with me through the glass, everything stopped. She went pale. Her jaw dropped. Her whole body stiffened like she'd seen a ghost. That ghost was me. Her husband. I watched her mouth move, forming words I couldn't hear, but I knew them by heart. Darling, how did my husband find us? And the guy next to her, some tall, smug, Calvin Klein wannabe, just smiled, leaned in, and whispered something in her ear. She nodded. Then she laughed. She FNG laughed. That sound used to belong to me. That smile. That touch. All of it. And now I was just some pathetic idiot watching his wife get cozy with her side dude in a hotel I probably paid for. I should have turned around. I should have walked away. But I didn't. I went straight to the lobby, every step fueled by rage and disbelief. My heart wasn't breaking, it was sharpening into a weapon. Room 907. I still remember the number because it felt like the gate to hell. I stormed down the hallway, fists clenched, shaking. I was ready to rip that door off its hinges, ready to scream, throw, demand answers, maybe worse. But just as I reached for the handle, I was hit from behind. Hard. Everything went black. No warning. No sound. Just BAM. Darkness. When I came to, my face was on carpet that smelled like bleach and old feet. My head felt like it had been split open. My mouth was full of blood. I looked up, room 907 was wide open. Empty. Amanda was gone. So was Chad, or whatever the hell his name was. My phone? Gone. Wallet? Gone. No one in the hallway. Not even a whisper. They were expecting me. This wasn't a random affair. This was something bigger. Planned. Coordinated. Set up. I dragged myself down to the lobby, blood dripping from my lip. I asked the receptionist if she saw anything. She barely looked at me. Sir, do you need medical attention? She asked like I was some drunk bum, not a man who just watched his marriage burn in front of him. No, I said. I need the security footage from room 907. She told me it was against policy. Figures. That night, as I sat in my car in the hotel garage, staring at the shattered illusion of my life, I realized I wasn't just betrayed. I was humiliated. Played. Set up and beaten down like trash. Amanda wasn't just cheating on me, she was orchestrating something behind my back with a man who clearly didn't fear me. And why would he? I was the fool. The backup plan. The guy who paid for her nails while she played house with someone else. But I wasn't going to stay that guy. That night, I died. The version of me who believed in loyalty, who defended Amanda when others warned me, who ignored the late texts and secretive smiles, that version is gone. What rose in his place? A man ready to burn everything down. Because if she wanted war, she just declared it. The next morning, I woke up on my couch with a pounding headache, dried blood on my cheek, and a storm in my chest I couldn't shake. The only thing louder than the pain was the silence. Amanda still hadn't come home. No texts. No calls. No, sorry, no, it's not what you think, nothing. Just her ghost lingering in our apartment like a bad smell. I didn't waste time. I went straight to our shared laptop, the one she always claimed was too slow for her stuff. I cracked the password in seconds. She used our daughter's birthday, which felt like another punch in the gut. You cheat on your husband, but still use your kid's birthday for your dirty digital trail? Emails. Flight confirmations. Restaurant bookings. All under her fake Gmail alias. Cute. Real subtle. One name popped up over and over, Chad Harper. I found him fast. Corporate douchebag. Personal trainer turned executive consultant, whatever the hell that means. Abs for days, brain cells for maybe 2. His LinkedIn screamed midlife crisis with a gym membership. I stared at his profile photo for a solid minute, burning his face into memory. My fists clenched again. Not from jealousy, nah. That died last night, but from a raw, primal need for justice. Then I checked Amanda's calendar. She had another girls' night scheduled for Friday. Dinner at Marlowe's, 8 p.m. I knew damn well none of her friends would be there. That wasn't a dinner date, it was a rendezvous. And this time, I'd be there too. I spent the next few days watching, not confronting. Every lie she told, I logged. Every smirk she gave me while pretending everything was fine, burned into my brain like acid. She kissed me on the cheek Thursday night. Told me, I love you, baby. You're working too hard. She even brought me coffee. Poison would have tasted sweeter. Friday came fast. I was parked across the street from Marlowe's by 7:45, engine off, lights low. She showed up in a black dress that I bought for our anniversary last year. The irony could have killed me. But what shattered me was seeing her walk up to Chad like they were royalty. She didn't look nervous. Didn't look guilty. She looked proud. Like she was flaunting it. I watched her kiss him on the lips, slow. Deep. Intimate. I don't know what held me back. Maybe I wanted proof. Maybe I wanted to see how deep the rabbit hole went. Or maybe I wanted to see if she'd ever flinch. She didn't. They ate. They laughed. She leaned on his shoulder like they were married. When he whispered in her ear, she blushed like a schoolgirl. My Amanda, who used to cry when I left for business trips, now giggling like a teenager for a man who probably said bro more than please. At 9:24 p.m., they left. Together. Hand in hand. I followed at a distance. They drove to a condo in Midtown. I waited 20 minutes, then walked up like I belonged there. The doorman was busy arguing with some delivery guy. I slipped right past. Elevator to the 6th floor. Door cracked open. Music playing inside. Laughter. I stood there, breathing hard. My hand hovered near the handle. Then I heard it. Amanda's voice, clear as glass. Don't worry, babe. He's clueless. He thinks I'm with Beth tonight. He still believes I love him. My lungs froze. Then Chad replied. He's a loser. If he had a spine, he'd have left you already. Laughter. Hers and his. That was it. That was when I knew. There was no saving this. Not us. Not her. She wasn't confused. She wasn't drunk. She wasn't desperate. She was deliberate. She chose this. And now. I would choose what came next. I didn't knock. I kicked the damn door open. Amanda screamed, half-dressed, wrapped in a blanket like modesty suddenly mattered. Chad jumped up like he was about to square up. But when he saw the look in my eyes, he froze. That smirk? Gone. Replaced by a twitchy panic, like a boy who just realized the fire he played with is burning the whole house down. I knew it, I said, stepping inside. You smug pieces of SHT really thought you'd get away with it? Amanda's face twisted into something between fake shock and irritation. Like I had inconvenienced her. What the hell, Ryan? Are you insane? No. I'm finally awake. She rolled her eyes, like I'd just accused her of forgetting to take out the trash instead of blowing up our marriage in a midtown condo. This isn't what it looks like, she tried, voice flat, arms crossed like a brat caught stealing. Chad stepped forward. Look, man, you're clearly upset. I cut him off with a shove so hard he stumbled backward into the lamp, knocking it over. You speak again, I swear to God, I'll rearrange your face. Amanda gasped, rushing in between us. Ryan. Don't touch him. This is your fault, you know. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because the level of delusion coming from her was beyond comprehension. My fault? Say that again. She didn't hesitate. You stopped paying attention to me. You were always working. You didn't touch me like you used to. What did you expect? I needed to feel something. You needed to feel something, so you let him feel you? I snapped. She crossed her arms tighter, chin up. At least he listens. At least he makes me feel alive. I couldn't believe it. No apology. No shame. She stood there, justifying months of lies like she was reading off a grocery list. Amanda didn't just cheat, she believed she was right to cheat. That made her dangerous. I turned to Chad. Get dressed and get out. Before I lose what little restraint I've got left. To his credit, he didn't argue. He pulled on his jeans and grabbed his shirt in silence. But right before he walked out the door, he looked at me and said, "She was never yours, man. You just had her on lease." And then, he winked. He winked. Before I could swing, he slipped out the door like the coward he was. I turned back to Amanda, fists trembling. You disgust me. Oh, please, she scoffed, walking to the kitchen. Spare me the drama. You're acting like I murdered someone. It's not the 1950s. People explore things. Not everyone wants to rot in the same boring marriage. So you just lie. 4 months? I didn't lie. I just didn't tell you everything. Oh yeah? Like getting 2 guys to jump me outside the Hilton? That made her pause. Just a flicker. But it was there. I don't know what you're talking about, she said quickly. You set me up. I didn't do anything. If you got into a fight, that's your business. Her mask was slipping. And I was seeing the real Amanda, cold, calculating, unapologetic. Not the woman I married. Not the woman I defended for years. This Amanda was venom in heels. I want a divorce, I said. She didn't even flinch. Fine. But I'm taking the house. That's when I realized, this wasn't about love. This was about power. Control. Winning. And she thought she had already won. But the game wasn't over. Not even close. Because Amanda just made a mistake. She underestimated what a betrayed man with nothing left to lose is willing to do. That night, I didn't sleep. I didn't cry. I didn't scream into a pillow or drink myself stupid. I planned. Amanda thought she ended the game by demanding the house. She thought she had the upper hand because she caught me off guard. What she didn't know, what she never considered, was that I learn fast when I'm pissed. And now? I was dialed in, heart cold, focus sharp. I called my buddy Marcus, a divorce attorney who owed me a favor. 10 minutes into our conversation, I already had a list of what to do, what not to do, and how to make Amanda bleed legally. Not just emotionally, financially, reputationally. If she wanted a war, I was done fighting with words. Get your hands on every financial doc you can, Marcus told me. Bank statements, assets, credit cards. Don't tip her off. Be quiet, be fast. I moved like a ghost. While Amanda was out doing God knows what with Chad, I was home digging. She thought I was crashing at a friend's place. I told her I needed space. She didn't even ask where I was going, she was too busy celebrating her new freedom. Fine. I let her celebrate. Meanwhile, I found everything. Our shared accounts? She had fun with those. New lingerie, expensive dinners, hotel charges, on my card. But what really caught my eye were 2 wire transfers, $4,000 sent to an unknown account. Repeated 3 times. That wasn't romantic cheating, that was financial betrayal. She was stealing from me. I printed it all, documented every detail. Even installed a spy cam in the living room, because I knew Amanda wouldn't stop being Amanda. She was too arrogant to hide. And right on schedule, she brought Chad into my home 2 nights later. Our home. They made themselves comfortable on my couch like it was a love nest. She wore the robe I bought her last Christmas. He had his feet on the table I built with my own hands. I watched through the app. Not a single ounce of shame between them. She poured wine. He kissed her neck. She whispered, "He's gone. He won't come back. He's weak. Weak." They laughed. But the best part? Chad pulled out a little plastic bag from his coat pocket. Cocaine. Right there. On my living room table. I recorded everything. Drugs. Infidelity. Fraud. That wasn't a messy breakup anymore. That was leverage. The next day, I filed for divorce. Full custody petition. Preemptive restraining order. I sent Amanda the papers through a courier just after lunch. 5 hours later, she stormed into my temporary apartment like a tornado, slamming the door open, face twisted in outrage. "Are you insane? You're trying to take my daughter?" "No, Amanda," I said calmly. "I'm saving her from a train wreck in heels. You don't have the right." "I have proof. I have the financials, the video, the wire transfers, and guess what? The coke." Her mouth hung open for a second before she launched into another performance. "That wasn't mine. That was his." I raised an eyebrow. "And you allowed it in a house where our daughter sleeps? Where she lives?" Her eyes flared. She knew she messed up. But worse, she knew I had her backed into a corner now. She tried a different approach. Crocodile tears. "Ryan, we can fix this. Please." I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted. "You were real clear when you said I was weak," I snapped. Silence. I grabbed my bag. "This isn't revenge, Amanda. This is consequences." As I walked past her, she grabbed my arm. "You're not taking everything." I looked her dead in the eyes. "Watch me." That's when I saw it. Not fear. Not sadness. Hatred. Pure, undiluted hate. She didn't want me back. She wanted to destroy me. But she'd have to try harder. Because I was just getting started. I thought the worst part was catching her cheating. I was wrong. The worst part was realizing Amanda wasn't just reckless or cold, she was calculated. She was dangerous. And she was nowhere near done. The day after she got the divorce papers, she went full scorched earth. It started with the calls. Mutual friends, family, even my own mother started ringing me up asking, "What's going on?" Amanda had been busy, crying on shoulders, twisting facts, painting herself as the victim. She told people I was emotionally abusive, controlling, jealous. That I'd pushed her into another man's arms. That I hit her once after an argument. That last one? A flat-out lie. But the damage was done. In 24 hours, Amanda turned from cheating housewife to martyr of the year. She was calling people I hadn't talked to in years just to poison the well. I didn't panic. I documented everything. Screenshots. Call logs. Witness statements. I even had a recorded call from her earlier where she admitted, "I knew it would make you look bad, but I needed people on my side." Then came the next bomb. She tried to freeze our accounts. I got the call from my bank while at the lawyer's office. "Mr. Cole, there's been an attempt to restrict access to your joint funds." Amanda was trying to cut me off. Probably thought I'd crawl back begging. She underestimated how fast I moved. I'd already separated my funds and locked down my cards. But that call confirmed something important. She wasn't playing defense. She was on offense. I warned Marcus. "She's gonna come for the kid next." He nodded. "We'll be ready. Judges don't like drama queens." But Amanda wasn't relying on judges. She was trying to win the court of public opinion. Instagram posts about healing, vague captions about escaping toxicity. Pictures with my daughter, always with that fake innocent smile that used to fool me, too. Then came Chad's stunt. That clown had the audacity to post a picture of them together at brunch, captioned, "Real love wins." Under it, Amanda commented, "Finally free." That was the moment I snapped. Not because she moved on, hell, she'd moved on before I ever knew there was a problem. No. I snapped because they wanted me to watch it. They wanted me to hurt. They weren't hiding. They were flaunting it. They wanted a reaction. But I don't break easy. Instead, I fired my next move. I sent my lawyer every clip, every photo, every financial record. I sent screenshots of Amanda's texts to her friend Jess, the ones where she called me an ATM with a ring. Then I reached out to Jess myself. I didn't threaten her. I didn't beg. I just said, "You're going to get subpoenaed. Don't let Amanda drag you into this." Jess folded like paper. Within a day, she handed over every message. Turns out Amanda wasn't just unfaithful, she'd been bragging about it. "Chad's better than Ryan in every way. I'll drain him dry and walk away smiling." There it was. Written proof of malicious intent. Judges love that phrase. I could have gone to war right then. But I wanted her to sweat first. So I waited. 2 days later, Amanda showed up at my apartment again. No knock, no call, just walked in like she still owned the place. She didn't look angry. She looked smug. "I talked to a lawyer," she said. "I'm taking full custody. You're unstable." I didn't even flinch. "Good," I replied, pulling out the folder. "Then let's show them this." I laid it all out on the table, the texts, the screenshots, the video. The bank records. Her messages about manipulation. And when I reached the part about the drugs in front of our daughter's bedroom door, she stopped breathing. "I never meant for it to go that far," she started. I stood up. "Oh, but it did, Amanda." She stared at me. And for the first time, she looked small. "You're not just losing this case," I said. "You're losing the mask you've been hiding behind your whole life." She tried to speak, but no words came. Only silence. Amanda left my apartment that night without another word. No threats. No screaming. No slamming doors. Just silence. But not the kind that meant she was done. The kind that meant she was plotting. I knew her too well. She wasn't going to let this slide. She would strike again, but this time, from the shadows. Like the snake she was. But what she didn't know. I was done reacting. I was done playing her little game. I had already set the next domino to fall. The very next morning, my lawyer filed an emergency custody petition based on the evidence I had compiled: drug use, infidelity, reckless behavior, even emotional neglect. Amanda's girls' night lie with Chad, the spy cam footage, the texts bragging about draining me, it was all laid out in a neat, burning legal package. We walked into court 3 days later. Amanda showed up in white. A white dress. I almost laughed out loud in the hallway. The irony was too thick. The woman who once texted her side piece from our bed, now trying to dress like innocence incarnate. She even brought her mother, who looked at me like I was Satan himself. Inside the courtroom, Amanda kept her act going. Fake tears, trembling voice, all the performance of a woman scorned. She painted me as cold, distant, volatile. Told the judge I was trying to punish her for moving on. Then my lawyer stood up. And he annihilated her. He read Amanda's texts aloud. The judge raised an eyebrow at, "He's clueless, I could tell him I'm flying to the moon and he'd believe it." He dropped the video clip of Chad cutting lines in our living room while Amanda poured him wine. Then came the screenshots from Jess. The ones that said, "I don't even like Chad, lol. But he makes Ryan squirm, and I live for that." The courtroom was silent. Amanda's hands were shaking. Her fake tears dried up fast. Her lawyer leaned over and whispered something to her, probably along the lines of, "You're screwed." The judge didn't yell. He didn't even raise his voice. He just sighed. "I see enough here to grant temporary sole custody to the father while further evaluations are conducted." Amanda gasped. Her mother stood up like she wanted to argue, but the judge shut it down. "This is not a debate. This is a consequence of choices." After the ruling, Amanda stormed out, mascara running, heels clacking against the tile like gunshots. She didn't even look back at me. Just muttered something to her lawyer and vanished down the hall. I walked out calm. Not because I was happy, none of this was victory. It was survival. I didn't win anything. I just kept from losing everything. My daughter ran into my arms later that evening. She didn't know what had happened. She just knew she was coming home to me. "I missed you, Daddy," she whispered. That broke me more than Amanda ever could. Because I realized, this entire war wasn't about revenge. It was about protecting what mattered. Amanda tried to play queen in a game she never understood. She thought lies could build a throne. She thought charm could erase truth. But now her empire of deceit was collapsing, and I didn't have to swing a sword. All I had to do was stop ignoring the signs, and finally fight back. But something still didn't sit right with me. Chad was too involved. Too confident. Too prepared. From the hotel ambush to the money transfers, something about this guy screamed, bigger picture. And Amanda? She was reckless, yes, but not stupid. She was hiding something. Something deeper. And if I wanted to truly be done with this nightmare, I had to dig up everything. So that's exactly what I planned to do. After the courtroom win, I should have felt relief. But I didn't. There was something still festering beneath the surface, something I couldn't shake. Amanda was never good at keeping secrets. But lately, her silence felt too strategic. Like she wasn't defeated, just biding her time. And then there was Chad. The way he moved, the way he spoke, the smugness wasn't just a side effect of sleeping with another man's wife. It was something more. That smirk he wore, it screamed confidence. Too much confidence. Like he knew something I didn't. And I hate not knowing. So I did what Amanda never expected me to do, I started digging into him. And what I found nearly made my blood boil. Chad wasn't just some gym rat smooth talker. He had a sealed criminal record. But a few phone calls and some favors later, I had access to everything. 4 years ago, he was arrested for fraud and blackmail. Pled down the charges. Served probation. Name change 6 months later. His real name? Chadwick Romero. And guess what else? He wasn't just Amanda's fling. He was her ex. From before we got married. Suddenly, it all clicked. The fast trust, the chemistry, the secrecy, the setup at the hotel, the ambush, it wasn't random. Amanda had been keeping in touch with him for years behind my back. They reconnected before the affair ever started. I found emails dated back to 2021. She used an old Yahoo account, hidden, never logged on our shared devices. I read them all. "I still think about you. Ryan's boring. Comfortable, but boring. I need out. But I want to land on my feet." Then Chad replied with this gem. "Leave him. I'll handle the rest." It wasn't an affair. It was a setup. From the very beginning, Amanda had been orchestrating my downfall. She wasn't cheating out of loneliness or emotional neglect, she was engineering an exit plan. And Chad? He was the weapon. Every moment we had, every kiss, every "I love you," during those last few months, it was all staged. I wasn't her husband. I was her backup plan. And it didn't stop there. I discovered a property deed Amanda had hidden. Bought in her sister's name, but paid from a secret joint account she'd created using my identity. A 2-bedroom condo in Miami. They were planning to disappear. To vanish with my daughter, the money, everything. The only thing that stopped her? Me catching her too early. I sat in my car, documents in the passenger seat, hands shaking on the steering wheel. This wasn't heartbreak anymore. This was warfare. And Amanda was a soldier in heels, trained in manipulation, willing to set fire to anything in her way, including me. I drove straight to my lawyer. We filed for full custody. No shared weekends. No supervised visits. I had enough to push her out of my daughter's life for good, and this time, I wouldn't hesitate. But I wasn't done. Because I knew Amanda wouldn't stop. She'd fight dirty. She always did. She'd pull stunts, cry in court, throw accusations like darts. She'd try to turn our daughter against me. Unless I hit first. So I made a decision. I wasn't just going to expose her lies in court. I was going to expose her publicly. Everything. The affair. The drugs. The stolen money. The forged documents. I started preparing everything for a press release, anonymous, of course. Her company wouldn't want the bad press. Chad's clients? Gone the moment they saw the truth. Her new life? Over before it began. She tried to burn me to the ground. But I'm still standing. Now, I'm lighting my match. 2 weeks. That's how long it took to dismantle everything Amanda had built on lies. The moment I sent the anonymous package to her employer, with all the receipts, screenshots, and video evidence, it was over. Her company launched an internal investigation within 48 hours. A day later, she was suspended without pay. The PR department was already scrubbing her from the website. Apparently, they didn't like being associated with a manipulative adulteress with a side hustle in credit fraud. But that was just the beginning. The press release hit a few online blogs the next day. Local gossip columns. Small, but loud. The headline was brutal. Executive's affair exposed an explosive divorce case involving fraud and drug allegations. It didn't take long for the vultures to come out. She called me 5 times that day. I didn't answer. She emailed me. One sentence. Why are you doing this? As if she didn't spend months plotting my downfall with a man who probably couldn't spell the word loyalty. I didn't respond. She'd made her choices. And choices have consequences. Chad? He disappeared the second his name hit the blogs. Deleted socials, cancelled his website, phone off. Probably crawled back into whatever sewer he came from. Turns out, a guy with 2 fraud charges and a trail of stolen gym memberships doesn't hold up well under scrutiny. Amanda was left alone in the wreckage. The condo she bought in Miami? Frozen by the court, pending investigation. The joint account? Closed. The money? Recovered. And my daughter? Still with me. I'd never seen her so calm. So peaceful. The tension she used to carry around Amanda, it was gone. She didn't ask for her. Not once. Kids see more than we think. They feel everything. And she felt safer with me. For the first time in months, I could breathe. But let me be honest with you, this didn't feel like a win. It felt like survival. Like crawling out of a burning building you didn't know was on fire until you were already choking on the smoke. And now? I was standing in the ashes. I sat on the edge of my bed one night, staring at a photo of Amanda and I from 6 years ago. Smiling. Laughing. Her head on my shoulder. Was that ever real? Or had she always been this way? Was she always pretending? The betrayal wasn't just the affair. It was every moment before it that she made feel genuine. It was every "I love you" that was just a tool. Every smile that was just camouflage. Every plan for the future that was already poisoned by the plans she had with someone else. But here's the thing about pain, it either breaks you or builds you. And I decided it wouldn't break me. I started over. Sold the house. Burned the wedding photos. Took a long trip out west with my daughter, just the two of us. We saw mountains, laughed until we cried, made memories that Amanda would never touch, never poison. And slowly, I became someone new. Someone sharper. Someone harder to fool. Someone not afraid to burn bridges if it meant saving myself. People ask me sometimes, if you could go back, would you have done anything different? And yeah, part of me wishes I'd seen the signs earlier. That I'd walked away the first time Amanda lied, the first time she came home with a different scent on her clothes. But the truth is, I'm glad I didn't. Because now I know exactly what I'll never tolerate again. Because now I see people for who they really are. And because I'm raising a daughter who will never mistake manipulation for love. Who will never need a man to complete her. Who will learn from her father what strength really looks like. So here's my advice, for anyone going through it. Don't chase closure. Don't wait for them to say sorry. Don't cling to someone who wouldn't even flinch if you fell apart. Stand up. Walk away. And if they try to burn you, let them. Then rise from the fire. Stronger. Smarter. And absolutely unstoppable.